First thing you learn is you don't get nothing that you don't earn. Humble pride I grew up on. You find out just how bad you want it.
The sun in our eyes and backs to the fences. We didn't know the odds were against us. Hit the wall, smoking and spinning. Still wasn't thinking about nothing but winning. That's the only way I know. But don't stop till everything's gone. Straight ahead, never turn around.
Don't back up, don't back down.
A full throttle, wide open. You get tired and you don't show it. Dig a little deeper when you think you can't dig no more. That's the only way I know.
Welcome, race fans, to our very first webisode of Track Talk. My name is Trey Brubaker. I'll be your host for this latest racing coverage right here every Monday all season long here on Track Talk. This week, we ventured out to Albuquerque, New Mexico to the season opener at Motiva Motor Speedway. Motiva Motor Speedway is located just off I-10 on the western edge of the city and is host to several motorsports events, including a road course, 2 asphalt ovals, a quarter midget facility, flat track motorcycles, the Dirt 300, which has become a very popular event, by the way, and of course tonight's feature event, the High Banked Dirt Oval, one of the newest and fastest dirt tracks here in the New Mexico land of enchantment, and it was a great evening. It's going to be fun bringing you that coverage. This is the third full season of the dirt track here, and it's really ignited a wildfire of fans each week, packing the place. This year they've added a new track sponsor, Motiva Performance, and they've also added the 305 Wing Sprint cars to the schedule. Tonight's races actually featuring the NMMRA Sprint cars, Street Stocks, Modifieds, Cruisers, Hornets, and the non-wing mini sprints on the smaller dirt oval that they've built in the infield last year. Alright, the Modifieds took the track. They had a total of 13 cars, 5 of them actual Modifieds. We had 8 X-Mods join the field, paying a little bit extra money for that highest finishing X-Mod. Clint Miller took home the first place in the first heat from Los Alamos, New Mexico, and Michael Lucero in that number 1 car, you see him starting in 7th, he actually won heat 2. This is the start of the main event as they come around turns 1 and 2. You're going to notice Josh Kane right at the back there, something happened. Then the 73 goes sideways. You'll notice that right in the back of the turn number 1, and unfortunately Josh Kane, you'll see as he is in the infield, definitely something wrong with the 3J, and you'll look into the pits. We'll zoom into there here in just one moment. You'll see the team trying to get this ready, trying to assess the damage. Unfortunately for them, it was more than just a left front flat. Looks like there was some contact with something in there in the front stretch, and unfortunately ending the Hurricanes' night. Modifieds were able to resume, and Luigi Truden leading at this point, Clint Miller right behind him. Great racing out there. Some of the X-Mods really hung in there. Michael Lucero, one of them to note. Him and Tom Malloy were right there. As you can see, the 62 of Tom Malloy, the 1 of Michael Lucero, they seem to be some of the top runners for that division. The battle really was between these 3 guys. Luigi Truden in the 13, the 58 of Clint Miller, and the 45X of Todd Budlong really battled it out the whole race. Modifieds have really put on a heck of a show at this track. They're fast on the high side and on the bottom. The X-Mods were able to stay with them, but ultimately Todd Budlong is going to come home with the win. We've got some video here on that here in a moment. Clint Miller was actually going to come home second. Michael Lucero ends up being the top modified driver, finishing in the X-Mod driver for that matter, finishing in the 3rd spot. Tom Malloy right behind him in the 62 and 4th. And Luigi Truden, after a late spin leading the race, was able to work his way all the way back up to 5th. He was on a move in that lucky number 13, and definitely, as you can see in this highlight here, we have the 73 of Gerald Haste sideways. It looks worse than it is. We actually have some fire coming out of the exhaust there, just trying to get it fired up again. It looks worse because there's actually spotlights behind it on the excess road, and that's why it looks worse than it really was. And nobody was hurt there. But let's see if we can get that video here of the finish. Here we are, the restart in the Modifieds, as you'll watch the top 2. That's Luigi Truden in the 13, the 45X of Todd Budlong, and oh, there goes the leader. That's going to be one of those you be the judge things, as that's a tough one. Todd Budlong able to keep his spot, 13 being sent to the back for this one. Let's check that out in slow motion here. Again, a really close call on that one. Nonetheless, hate to be the judges on those calls. It's a tough one. Todd Budlong again coming home with the win, followed closely behind on a last lap pass. Passed him in turn 4, got caught up in lap traffic. It was a crazy, wild 4-wide finish, and Todd going to take home the win. Clint Miller taking home second. Michael Lucero, the highest finishing X-Mod, in third. Tom Malloy, a great run. Solid top 5 the whole race in that 62 machine. And rounding out your top 5, of course, the 13 of Luigi Truden, all out of Albuquerque. So the NMMRA sprint cars, they were the headliner tonight, and of course your winners of the heat races are going to be the 74X of Josh Hodges. He actually was in a fast heat. 3 of the top 5 cars from the night came out of that heat race. Second heat race was won by the 4X of Cody Mansfield, who held off a strong charge by his brother Austin in the 57, who's a rookie this year. That's going to be a fun battle to watch all season long. Those kids are talented. You go into heat number 3, that's a 24 of Robert Marvia taking the win over long toe 45 driver of Jason Grady out of, let's see, he's actually out of Flora Vista, New Mexico. Long drive for him and his brother, Josh Grady, coming from the Four Corners area. Main event, of course, great run, crowd favorite. Great crowd staying to watch the sprint cars as the sun had set. Beautiful night. Coming home with the win again. Clean sweep from the front row in the 74X machine. That'd be Joshua Hodges. Coming home in second. He came all the way not only from El Paso, Texas, but he had to start in the B main. Come all the way, won the B, started 17th in the main event, made it all the way up to second, made it a run. It was an interesting finish. And let me tell you, Don Grable from El Paso, Texas is going to be one to watch this season in that 148. Coming home in third was Bo Baker out of Grants. He started all the way in 16th. Talk about hard chargers this weekend. Cody Mansfield, winner of Heat 2, he took 4th place in the main event. And rounding out your top 5 again, all the way out of Farmington, New Mexico, was the 12J of Josh Grady. I apologize for no audio or video on the sprint cars. We will have more of that next week. We had some video issues with the sun and positioning, but we will get that fixed for next weekend when the 305s come to town. Driver the 15 street stock this year, not cruiser. It's kind of confusing for me. I'm gonna have a rough time with that this year.
Still getting used to it too.
Shanna, you just had a birthday this year.
I did.
Oh, just a few weeks ago, right?
Yep.
How old are you now?
20.
20 years old.
20.
So you've been racing since you were how old?
This is my 3rd year.
3rd year. So 17, not bad. There's little kids racing out there now. It's kind of crazy. So let's see here. How old were you when you got your first win?
I was 18, I believe.
It's your 2nd year. Nice.
No, it was my 1st year. It was the last race of my first season.
So what happens when you have a birthday right
now? Yep, I know, right there.
Who's your biggest rival in racing, would you say?
Ooh, depending, are we speaking street stocks?
You pick. If you could only pick one rival, you say, this is the person I have to do better than.
The fastest car in the class.
Which is?
RC at this point.
What was it like? First main event, you're right up there racing for the win?
My heart's beating. I don't even know. I was gonna throw up, I thought. I was nervous, but I was hanging, so I was ready.
You were right there to the end. It was one heck of a race. What were you thinking? They came on the radio, and we have a lot of yellows. You're right there, and then they kept having a caution.
Yeah.
2 laps to go, and they tell you if one more yellow comes out, it's over, and you're sitting in 2nd place.
I know.
What's going through your mind?
That I have one more lap to get to the front, and that's a short amount of time.
And unfortunately, the yellow came out right then. But honestly, second place, first night in the street stocks.
Oh yeah, I am
that's
so happy.
What made you decide to make the transition into street stocks from the cruisers?
It was kind of me and my dad's decision. I did really good in the cruiser last year. I got second place and barely missed the championship, so I wanted to move up, and it turned out well with this car that we got.
Apparently so, right? That's a big, scary step.
Isn't it?
It's a big jump. You got a nice car. It's very well built. Everyone was talking about it tonight. It was like the car that everyone wanted to look at.
I know.
Got a lot of attention.
It's got that green. Everybody's got something to say.
And I was going to ask about practice, but we got the tonight racing. Thankfully, we got to do it at the end of the night. It actually worked out really good, thankfully. You got a nice looking car, first time on the track, but there's something strange about your car this year. It's green. And been around racing a long time. What's with the green? Is it green bad luck?
I don't believe in that. Green's my favorite color, so the first thing I wanted was green numbers, and I think that the superstition is all in your head. It's what you believe is what's going to happen. So I started with my car green. The night I won my very first race, my band was green, and come on, green means go.
That's a good answer.
Green
Actually,
means go.
never thought about that. It's kind of funny, you know. Green's a bad luck color, but yet that's the only one you want to see.
That means you go fast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's really good. I knew you had a good answer for that one. She doesn't know any of these questions that are coming, so she was expecting that one, of course.
Yeah.
At least
Been
you're
hearing
not
it all
13,
night.
right?
I know, it's a little pushing it.
Where did 15 come from?
My birthday is March 15th. It's always been my lucky number, 15. It's just how it's always been.
That's a good answer. Yeah, it makes sense. Now, speaking of family, because your family sent a lot of questions, pretty much everyone was interested in this whole family rivalry because you guys like take up traffic jams to get to the track with all your cars. And so, I mean, everyone you're related to races, right?
Mostly, kinda, yeah.
You and your dad tonight, or your dad will be out next weekend, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that'll be fun to have two cars.
I know,
next
it's
week.
gonna be exciting.
And so the whole rivalry in the family, it's really sparking fans' interest.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, you have a bunch of friends and family writing in today, sending questions, and they all wanted to know, what is it like racing? You had to race against your brother.
Yeah.
How is that?
That's the biggest competition. I think that's the biggest part of it. I like racing with my brother. It's been fun. It's just some weekends there's differences, but it's fun and I like it. I don't say I wouldn't. I think when I get around them, I get a little more careful, a little more nervous, because I don't want to be, oh, I took out my brother. Oops.
Right.
Yeah. So it's fun though.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I wouldn't race against my brother. That'd be tough. That'd be.
I don't have a choice.
Yeah, right. And then you move up, and now he is.
And he moved up, yeah.
So
I asked him, I was like, oh man, here we go. It's another year.
Looks like you're going to be racing here most of the time, full time. He's going to be racing out in Grants most of the time. How's that going to be? That's kind of crazy. We used to be on the same track.
They're not gonna be here very much. It's not gonna be as fun, I guess, because I don't have my brother out there with me. But
yeah, you got some races. I was talking about scheduling. There's some few races you guys have planned on them coming out here. You going out there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have always been winning. Your mom races, your dad races, Rick races, and Robbie races. All you guys are coming out, and you have to compete against each other.
I know.
Well, now you can win a heck of a lot more races. Now you're spread out a little bit more. So
he's definitely competition. He is one heck of a driver.
Who do you think's better driver, you or your dad?
Oh. I honestly don't know.
It's a tough one. Yeah,
I think it depends on what car we're in, I guess.
He's in the
Or the track, maybe. I don't know.
Might have to try and find out this year. Maybe.
Daddy's been in it longer than I have, so I'm gonna go with that.
There you go. Good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer. Let's see here. Yeah, everyone was really excited about things like that. Let's see here. In all seriousness, with your family being a racing family and a history of winning, how much pressure do you have to win every year?
Oh, I have felt like this year has been the biggest pressure I've had on me so far.
It's only race one, by the way.
It's only race one, exactly. I came out here tonight knowing that a lot of people were out here watching me and cheering for me, and I had a lot of people writing me, telling me, and that puts the pressure on me. I think it makes me feel nervous, makes me feel like I have to go out here and do good to impress all these people. But
A good friend of mine told me several years ago, back in 08, that when you go out to the races, the best thing to be is nervous, because when you're nervous, there's something wrong.
Yep. If you're not nervous, you don't need to be in a race car.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Perfect. Let's see here. You go to school full time.
Yes.
You also work.
Yes.
And then you get all these race cars you got to take care of. How does that work?
Well, to be honest, I don't do anything on the race cars. My dad and Chad take care of it, and that's my thankfulness right there.
You're going to school,
That's what I do. I go to school and I go to work, and that's what they want me to do. So.
Well, it worked out. They did an amazing job putting the car together.
Yes, they did.
It was real fast.
It was awesome.
And, one of the best handling cars out here tonight by far. I mean, speaking of kind of on the side note also, you were talking to some guests here at the track tonight. They were from out of town. Tell us about that. What happened?
Well, I was in my pit, and my best friend came up to me, and she told me that people were talking about me, and they wanted to talk to me. Well, as soon as I got to my pit, a big group of men came up to me, and they're like, well, we've been to 80 tracks around the country, and we're with Rusty Wallace Racing, and you are one heck of a driver. They told me to keep it up. I couldn't believe it. I was thinking, this is NASCAR recognizing me. I can't believe this. Like, that's awesome. That's an awesome feeling for me.
No kidding. And Rusty Wallace was my favorite driver. That's why I was number 2 when I raced. So that was really awesome.
It was awesome.
One heck of a compliment.
Yeah.
On your first night call. Never raced in a car.
I know. So I told him, I was like, this is my first night in the street soccer. Like, you got talent.
It's like, come back next week.
He told me straight up, you have talent.
It's impressive, very much. That was really cool. And that kind of runs me right into, of course, one of your fans' questions here. And this is from Eric from Los Lunas, New Mexico. And he wants to know, since we're talking about how fast you were, does it take sleeping in until noon to be this good?
Oh my goodness. Eric would say that. When I first started staying over at their house, I would sleep in, and they'd be like, you need to get up, we don't sleep in around here. And I'm used to sleeping 10, 11, 12, whenever I want. Now I got on the schedule where I am up at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
That's why it's a joke. It's definitely the joke. Eric is the reason why I do not sleep till noon anymore.
Well, there you go.
He's awesome.
That's good deal. I love the fun questions. Don't forget, if you ever send in, you got fun questions you want to ask anyone every week, send them right in. I'll be happy to embarrass people. I have no problem with that.
Oh, thanks.
They were pretty nice. You got it off easy tonight, right?
Right, I did. I know, especially when it's coming from Eric. I was like a little scared.
And then, of course, we have a fun one. I really like this question. It was out of all the questions that sent in, it was my favorite one. And this came from Sarah, actually. And this is a really, I would have never thought of it. But everyone wants to know. Everyone's got these superstitions.
Yeah.
Do you have any race day rituals or superstitions that you go through?
Most of the time on race day, I choose not to eat because I feel like if I come out here and all my nerves get worked up, I'm going to throw up, and I don't want to. So if I don't eat anything, there's nothing to throw up.
I can relate. I know where you're coming from.
Mostly, every time I go into staging, I have the magnet prayer that the preacher gave me, and I say it, and I have lucky nuts.
Lucky nuts.
J.R. Bone still had given me lucky nuts the night I won my first race. He told me, quit being a pansy, don't be so scared, let me give you some lucky nuts. And he zip-tied some lucky nuts, and I won that night. And they have been in every car since I've started.
What better person than J.R. Bone Steele? He's
Right.
won more races than I think any of us have.
Exactly.
And that's amazing. And Shanna, thank you so much. You are such a great support. Your family and friends love you, obviously. You're huge support online, and hopefully we can do you justice. I can't wait to see you next weekend.
I know, I'm so excited.
You know, the fun thing, what everybody may not know, is she had to start last all night.
All night.
8 people drop hills and you got last.
Yep.
Twice.
Of course, right?
You can only go up from here. So it was a great deal. Thank you so much for being on the show. And thank everyone for watching, tuning in. And next Saturday night, we'll be back here at Motiva Motor Speedway. And Shanna will be back in racing. She's got to deal with her dad, too, racing twice. So we'll see how we can handle that.
My daddy will be here next month.
So a lot of fun. And thank you guys again.
Thank you.